Hello knowledge seekers, my name is MK and in this presentation I will be speaking about value added tax VAT in the UAE and answer some of the key questions that you might have regarding VAT. What is VAT? Value added tax or VAT is a tax on the consumption or use of goods and services levied at the point of sale. VAT is a form of indirect tax and is used in more than 180 countries around the world. All OECD countries except for the US have VAT or a variation. While it feels exactly the same as a general sales tax to end consumers, VAT is a more sophisticated tax and overcomes many challenges that affect the general sales tax. VAT is charged at each step of the supply chain. End consumers generally bear the VAT costs while registered businesses collect and account for VAT, in a way acting as a tax collector on behalf of the Federal Tax Authority. When will it go into effect and what will be the rates? VAT will be introduced across the UAE on 1st of Jan 2018 at a standard rate of 5%. VAT will be charged at 0% in respect of the following main categories of supply: export of goods and services to outside the GCC states that implement VAT, international transportation and related supplies, supplies of certain sea, air and land means of transportation such as aircrafts and ships, certain investment grade precious metals, example gold, silver of 99% purity, newly constructed residential properties that are supplied for the first time within 3 years of their construction, supply of certain educational services, supply of certain healthcare services. The following categories of supplies will be exempt from VAT: the supply of some financial services, residential properties, bare land, and local passenger transport. Why is it being introduced? VAT will provide the UAE government with a new source of income which will contribute to the continued provision of quality public services into the future. It will also help government move towards its vision of reducing dependence on oil and other hydrocarbons as a source of revenue. When are businesses supposed to start registering? Any business that is required to be registered for VAT and charge VAT from 1st of Jan 2018 must be registered prior to that date. To enable businesses to prepare for VAT introduction and comply with its registration obligation in time, the electronic registration will be open for VAT from the third quarter of 2017 on a voluntary basis and a compulsory basis from the final quarter of 2017 for those that choose not to register earlier. This will ensure that there is no last-minute rush from businesses to register for VAT before the deadline. What are businesses required to do? Any business which exceeds mandatory or voluntary registration thresholds may be required or may be able to register for VAT. For mandatory registration, a business must register if the total value of their taxable supplies made within the UAE exceeds the mandatory registration threshold over the previous 12 months, or they anticipate making taxable supplies with a value exceeding the mandatory registration threshold in the next 30 days. The mandatory registration threshold will be 375,000 dirhams. For voluntary registration, a business may apply to register if they do not meet the mandatory registration criteria and the total value of their taxable supplies or taxable expenditure in the previous 12 months exceeds the voluntary registration threshold, or they anticipate that the total value of their taxable supplies or taxable expenditure will exceed the voluntary registration threshold in the next 30 days. The voluntary registration threshold will be 187,500 dirhams. What are the VAT related responsibilities of businesses? Businesses will need to record their financial transactions and ensure that their financial records are accurate and up to date. Businesses that do not think that they should be VAT registered should maintain their financial records in any event, in case Federal Tax Authority needs to establish whether they should register. VAT registered businesses generally must charge VAT on taxable goods or services they supply, may reclaim any VAT they've paid on business related goods or services, keep a range of business records which will allow the government to check that they have got things right. If you have charged more VAT than you've paid, you have to pay the difference to the government. If you've paid more VAT than you've charged, you can reclaim the difference. Thank you so much for watching my presentation. If you've learned something from it, share it with others who might benefit from it, and hit the thumbs up button to give this video a like. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until next time, take care.